What's going on, YouTube Nation? This is Darth Dividend. If you guys are new to my YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss future videos. We just went over a poll on my community tab on my YouTube, and a lot of you guys want me to start doing more stock analysis on a lot of the stocks I own. And I'm going to be going back to graduate school. I'm looking at nurse practitioner school this fall. So, I'm going to be kind of crammed, so I want to get straight to the point with a lot of these stocks. So it seems like what you guys want to do is, and you guys can clarify, each week I'll go over M1, 1 week I'll go over M1 Finance, show you how my M1 Finance dividend portfolio is, and then the next week I'll go over a stock and dividend analysis on many of the stocks that I own. And this is a new one that I just bought, AstraZeneca. I'm not paid by AstraZeneca and I'm not a representative, but it is a fantastic pharmaceutical company. As a registered nurse, I've seen a lot of their products. I will describe some of their products out there and why they're such a diverse company. And I will go over a little bit about the AstraZeneca. They also are in pretty much the bug arms race to creating a vaccine. They just made an article, which I will go over as well. So let's talk about AstraZeneca. Let's go over the fundamentals. Let's talk about financials. First of all, let's compare it. This is how it's looking right now. It's $53.64 a share. Dividend yield 2.61%. So let's just compare it real quick to the S&P. So right now I have Pfizer. It is killing Pfizer right now. I don't even need to compare it. So here's AstraZeneca against the S&P Max. It has beaten the S&P 1,024.53% to 615.53%. We'll see in the past 5 years, because you always want to see how it's doing in 5 years. Look, it took a little bit of a blow, and it's still beating the S&P right now. So that's something that's very attractive to that AstraZeneca. It's a pharmaceutical company, very diverse. If one sector takes a huge hit, it's going to be fine because they have a lot of products, and I'll go over that shortly. Let's look at financials with AstraZeneca, and then I'll go to the dividend history. So June 2019, sure, the net income was down, revenue was up 5.82 billion, 82.27% cash on hand. So here's June 2019. Let's go over March. So revenue has increased 15.72%, net income is 31.53%. Net profit, imagine 13.7%. Operating income, 25.34%. Cost of revenue has been up 24.09%. So in December, net income went down. Revenue still increased. So I really like the numbers with the revenue. Revenue increased, revenue increased, revenue increased, revenue increased. So that's something that I really like to see. So AstraZeneca, let's go over this product. And I'll also show you how many shares I own on my M1 Finance, but let's talk about some products at the AstraZeneca and what helps this company be very diverse. So let's just look at some of the medications that AstraZeneca has. Now, I am a registered nurse. I can explain to you some medications. I always educate my patients on why these medications are important and side effects. So let's just go over just some, because I work on a critical care step down floor. Let's just go over some of these real quick. Gastrointestinal, so Nexium, omeprazole, and some of these other medications. These are like these prevent ulcers. So if you take aspirin, they like you to be on a counter so that you don't prevent ulcers, because aspirin is an antiplatelet. And some of these other medications, which I will discuss. Brilinta is going to be another one, which I'll discuss. And it's actually really cool. The reps come in, and they explain to us how effective Brilinta is and how they, when they go to cardiologist offices, the importance of it. But Nexium, you see it over the counter all the time. Omeprazole, if you notice that people are, either they take a Pepcid, or they take like omeprazole, or Nexium, or Protonix. So people that have GI bleeds, they sometimes recommend this as well in the future. If you have an active GI bleed, they'll put you on a Protonix drip. And these are very popular products. So these are over the counter. Sometimes your physicians might recommend this. So this prevents ulcer prevention with a lot of the medications you take, as well as it's a proton pump inhibitor. I don't want to get into details, but it can help with a upset stomach. So let's go over cardiovascular medications real quick. Just some Crestor. So this is a statin. So a lot of people that have issues with cholesterol, they have to take a statin unless if their liver enzymes have issues. But they recommend statins, people that have had strokes, people, they go by these core measures. So they make sure that, if you had a stroke, they make sure that you're on a statin, they make sure that you're on this. If you have, they call it AMI, or acute myocardial infarction, they make sure that you're on certain things, because there's some risk factors that can lead to a heart attack, or I don't want to go, I'm trying to be as basic as possible, but if your cholesterols or your LDLs are elevated, triglycerides are elevated, blood pressure is another factor. There's a lot of other things in the blood pressure, diabetes, we call it a hemoglobin A1C. So if you guys have diabetes, that's kind of like the truth serum test. So they test your A1C. Usually you want your level below 6.5. A lot of people want it below even better, but that's another thing. So, you have diversity right here. This is metoprolol succinate, beta blockers. It's a class of the beta blockers that relaxes your heart. There's parameters, obviously. You want your heart rate between 60 and 100. So this will help you be within that range. And obviously you want to hold it if get your heart rate even lower. There's a thing called where you're symptomatic, where you're bradycardic, which means your heart rate's below 60 to 100. And that's something you don't want to do. So is take a beta blocker. Unless if you have a pacemaker, and then it keeps your heart rate from jumping up, and the pacemaker keeps you at a certain rate. This Brilinta is something that's really, it's a really cool medication, and the reps come in and explain to us why people should take Brilinta. So if people have stents put in, sometimes I'll say 6 to 12 months. When they put in after they take a stent, they take Brilinta. I like saying Brilinta. It's just easier to say Brilinta and aspirin. So those two together will help. Basically when they do a stent and it opens you up and opens up your heart, they'll do an LAD, or a certain section in chambers of the heart, and basically it keeps it open. So if we've had people, they warn you too, if you don't, this happens nationwide, worldwide. If you stop taking your Brilinta post-stent, you're going to probably go back in the cath lab because it's not healing properly, and they have to open you up or balloon you up the stent. So Brilinta is a really cool medication. When it's taken with aspirin, you have to take it together, but Brilinta is the type of medication. Aspirin's an antiplatelet, so is Brilinta considered, but the cool thing about Brilinta, from what the reps told us, is it's like a magnet. It jumps from platelet to platelet to platelet. So it just, the moment it finds one, it just jumps to this one, then it jumps to that one. So that's a really cool thing about Brilinta versus aspirin. They'll warn you if you're going to surgery. Same thing with Brilinta, 5 to 7 days. Your platelets live about 5 to 7 days. So you have to hold that and go from there. So here's Zestril. This is called lisinopril dihydrate. This is a medication. This is a anytime you see the word pril, this is a ACE inhibitor. So one thing that happens if you get a dry cough with these, then they send you to an ARB, which is an angiotensin receptor blocker. But basically, lisinopril, people that have low ejection fraction, so if you have heart failure issues, they will put you on lisinopril. Now, if you have kidney issues, stage 3, stage 4 kidney disease, or issues with your creatinine, or they call kidney function, they usually they're careful with that because that can damage the kidneys. And the other thing is when your kidneys are damaged, sometimes they call it half-life of medications that can stay longer. So Zestril is a very popular medication. You know, you have to follow these core measures with heart failure right here that, you know, this can be with stroke and, you know, MIs. And this is not, Brilinta is usually, it's either you get Brilinta and aspirin or Plavix and aspirin. Now, if there's an issue that you have to be on a blood thinner and this and that, then they can maybe work around it. But usually the rule of thumb, this one right here is taken with aspirin. They're really trying to, you know, a lot of the physicians really like this one. It's not going anywhere, and unfortunately, heart disease is not going anywhere. Zestril, same thing. I mean, people are having bad ejection fractions. Usually, you want to be about 55 to 60%. If you're below that, you're diagnosed with heart failure. You follow a core measure with a ACE or an ARB. Lisinopril is basically one of the ACEs. So this ain't going anywhere, this ain't going anywhere, and this is not going anywhere. So the other thing, let's see, what else should I go into detail? Latenolol is basically, I mean, that's a beta blocker. You know, I'm not going to go into detail about that. It basically relaxes the heart, and you know, you have to follow a core measure if you have CHF as well. Heart, you know, MI, you know, sometimes they try to get you on that as well. So you have core measures you got to follow, and a lot of these medications work in conjunction with that. Let's see what else. Let's see, gastrointestinal. Now, infection vaccines, I'm going to jump to something because the AstraZeneca is, they do vaccines, and they are pretty much in the arms race with Pfizer and all these other pharmaceutical companies to try to get the vaccine for the bug. So I'm going to jump the gun real quick and go over that with AstraZeneca. So I'm going to jump the gun, go over this vaccine article, and then we're going to go to the dividend history. Before I jump to this article real quick on the vaccine arms race, my buddy Millionaire's Mindset, I will go over his Instagram and his link, so I'll go over that briefly. He's been a very active follower on my Instagram as well as my videos, so I will discuss his videos as well. So UK's AstraZeneca is on track to roll out the virus vaccine in September. So British pharmaceutical giant is partnering with Oxford University, which began trials with hundreds in April and is now expanding them to 10,000 participants. So they're on track to begin rolling up to 2 billion doses of the vaccine in September if ongoing trials prove successful, as chief executive said on Friday. So the company is partnering with Oxford and has pioneered the vaccine, is already manufacturing doses before seeking final regulatory approval once testing concludes in the coming months. So far, we're right on track, and we are starting, look, there's my previous jobs over here where I worked. We are starting to manufacture this vaccine right now, and we have it ready to be used by the time we have the results. AstraZeneca chief executive passed, I can't even say his name. So by August, so in September, we'll know we'll have an effective vaccine or not. So basically, they are partnering with the Indian Institute, one of the world's largest vaccine manufacturers, will help supply to a large number of low and middle income countries. So these guys are rolling, okay? These guys are rolling. So, you know, they are part of the arms race, and if these guys successfully do this, I don't know if there's any guarantees. They're all trying to find you know, the best one and the most active one is going to have this. So that's the important thing. Oh my God, these ads are ridiculous. Look at the thing on the left. But you know, this is the important thing about AstraZeneca and how effective they are and what their capabilities are. So I just went over some diversity. I'm going to also jump to my buddy Millionaire Mindset and then go over the dividend history. So let's go over that real quick. I have to give you a shout out, Millionaire Moves, for thank you for being a very loyal subscriber and follower on my Instagram as well as YouTube. I'm going to just jump to his site real quick, give him a shout out. So this is one of my buddies that I met. He's just creating a community, $3 per month. He will show you some information on names featured on the dedicated Instagram content, investors. He'll show you his investor portfolio, and future millionaires get access to his 3x3 plan for success. And he also offers one-on-one coaching. So this is one of my buddies. He has a PhD in sociology and has published multiple articles using statistics to describe the world we live in. He has authored a number of encyclopedia entries and concerning statistics. He has taught high school stats at a top 20 university here in the United States. Again, he has a disclaimer, but I want to refer you to his site right here on his Millionaire Moves. You can find that on my Instagram channel. He can also post in the comment section. He is not paying me, but I just want to give him a shout out. All right, and I'm going to jump to the dividend history of AstraZeneca. So AstraZeneca has basically 2 times it gives off its dividends, and it's usually in March and September you get your dividends. So it's kind of weird the way it gives off its dividends, but one thing that is interesting with the stock and why I invested in AstraZeneca is they might go after Gilead Sciences. They may buy them off. There have been articles on it. And just their potential of what they own and what they have gives it off twice a year. But again, these guys, their revenue has increased, and it's good to diversify. So I needed something in my dividend portfolio with pharmaceuticals. I have 2 of them right now. I have Pfizer and AstraZeneca, and I'm going to jump to my E-Trade, I'm sorry, not my E-Trade, but my M1 Finance dividend portfolio, and I'm going to explain to you why I added them on my M1 Finance dividend portfolio. This is how I'm looking right now with my market. I've earned $74.63 a dividend. My gain was $483.99. Good. I mean, I was up a lot, but I know the market was fluctuating. But let's go to my holdings real quick. So it's always good to diversify. And I was just on the phone with people from Rich Uncles, and everything's up in the air. They, basically the options are with Rich Uncles, either option 2 with the previous video, they find a new buyer and they pretty much completely abolish the rate, or option 1, which I'm kind of hoping they do, is they just start another crowdfunding rate. And a lot of us lost a lot of money, but it's good to be diversified because if something happens, I got backup from these guys. And if they sell, I'm just going to throw it right back in the stock market and in my M1 Finance portfolio. And not everything's in vain, because I can just get more money for my shares and get the money on the dividends, because I can make up for that probably in the next, I think, 3 years, just by expanding my portfolio. So I'm really excited to see what happens. But so I only have I have 3.93 shares, and I only have one pharmaceutical company, and I had one, and now I have 2. So at least I have some backup with 2 pharmaceutical companies. Pfizer, if they take a hit, I got AstraZeneca to back me up. And I know it's not following the Rainey method, but I just think it's important there is a lot of potential with AstraZeneca. It is beating the S&P, and if it is beating the S&P, the semi-annual dividends, let's see, I got one with Disney, semi-annual dividends. So AstraZeneca has some serious potential to give off higher dividends in the long run, and they are a very strong company. So I could, if I wanted to, if they go real big, I can sell them and then just put it right back in my M1 Finance portfolio. So that's two reasons why I did that. One, I needed to diversify. Dividends aren't too bad. And the other thing is, if all of a sudden it just blows up like crazy, I can sell it and just get more shares. So there's two options right there that I have with this. And I'll probably hold on to it. I mean, I do need, the more stocks, the better. I mean, things are looking pretty good. But again, looking at, AstraZeneca, I mean, just looking at their 25-year dividend history, stock price has gone up. The dividend payout is starting to get up there. So, that's the important thing. The dividend payout is increasing over time. That's what we all want as dividend investors, right? I mean, this is the important thing. So usually when the yield can sometimes go down because the price per share is doing really well. So this is what we want to see over time. Payouts going up, price per share is going up, and sometimes the yield could go down because the price per share is increasing. So thank you again for watching this video, Millionaire Moves. I promised I'd give you a shout out on there. You've been awesome on my Instagram, as well as tagging me on Instagram, so I had to give you some props. He is not paying me to promote his Instagram as well as his site, but check it out, look into it, see what you think, and I appreciate the vote. The vote was very important, so now I need to know, now I know what you guys really want, because I'll start posting more videos. So make sure you like this video. That way more people can see it on the YouTube algorithm, and more dividend investors can see this as well. So, this is the reason why I make these videos, because if you guys have a dividend portfolio, an IRA or Roth IRA, again, I'm not a financial investor or a professional financial individual. Disclaimers are in the comment section. But I'm here to help you out. I want you guys to make money. This is when I really started to change my niche and realize that my calling for YouTube videos was on dividend investing. So it's a very strong community, very strong investors, people that I love collaborating and watching your videos. So this is definitely for you guys out there. So thank you again. And you guys have a good one. I will post a Funrise Friday video, and I will give you a follow-up with the rich uncles. So I'm going to discuss why it's good to diversify in real estate crowdfunding in the next video, and discuss what I want to happen with rich uncles, and if it doesn't happen, what am I going to do? Because I do have Funrise helping me out. So that's the one positive of the whole situation, is one crowdfunding platform is taking a huge blow. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't. They're not leading me anywhere. They're not giving me any hints anywhere. This is supposed to be something that could increase the net asset value. Rich uncles tanked. Okay, tanked. So that's why we diversify. Rates take a hit. I got pharmaceuticals to back me up. So that's the diversification. So thank you again for watching this video. And if you guys are new, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss future videos. Give me a like and let me know what you think of this video. Let me know what you think of this presentation. leave it in the comment section. I did the best I could to inform you guys about medications, very simple and straightforward. So if you like that, let me know. I just think it's a very diverse company, a very strong company in the long run. So have a good one and have a great Wednesday.